Have you ever tried to look inside your horse's mouth, only to have them throw their head straight up in the air, clamp their jaw shut, and back away from you, leaving both of you frustrated and worn out? What if I told you that the secret to a clean, healthy horse mouth isn't a stressful daily fight with your horse's head? What if the actual solution was sitting right inside your kitchen and your feed room, just waiting to be added to your horse's bucket? Let me guess, you're probably thinking, "Come on, Dr. Wade, is that really true? Can I actually protect my horse's teeth without fighting them every morning?" Well, I have some incredible news for you. Yes, you can. As an equine veterinarian, I'm here to tell you that there are simple, natural kitchen ingredients that help soften soft buildup on the teeth, calm sore gums, and freshen a foul mouth. Within 24 to 48 hours, the invisible bacteria in your horse's mouth begins to harden into a cement-like layer along the gum line. But if we interrupt that 24-hour cycle using everyday items you already have sitting in your kitchen and your feed room, we can slow that buildup way down. No fighting required. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Wade Coleman, your country equine veterinarian, and welcome back to the channel. On my calls, dental problems are one of the most common issues I find, and the sad part is that most owners have no idea anything is wrong. By the time a horse is around 5 years old, the majority of them already have some kind of dental issue starting, and I hear the same confession from almost every horse owner. "Dr. Wade, I feel so guilty, but I just cannot get in there and look at my horse's back teeth." If that is you, I want you to take a deep breath and drop the guilt right at the barn door. Looking inside a horse's mouth is genuinely difficult. Their mouth is long, their tongue is powerful, and the teeth that matter most are way in the back where you cannot see them without proper equipment. You are not a bad horse owner, but ignoring their mouth is not an option either. Bad teeth in a horse don't just cause bad breath. A horse with a sore mouth cannot chew properly, and a horse that cannot chew properly cannot break down their hay. That leads to weight loss, poor coat, and a much higher risk of a dangerous blockage in the gut. Their entire body starts with their mouth, so today we are doing a complete dental masterclass. Grab a pen and a notebook. I am going to share my absolute favorite, highly effective natural home habits and simple daily routines that do the work for you. We're going to talk about mechanical chewing, antibacterial kitchen items, herbal rinses, and a remarkable ocean ingredient you can add right to their feed. Let's dive into the absolute best ways to protect your horse's mouth naturally. Let's start with Chapter 1, and this is probably the most overlooked part of your horse's oral health, the water trough. When we talk about a horse's health, everyone focuses on hay and grain, but the water trough is actually a massive breeding ground for the exact bacteria that damages your horse's mouth. Have you ever reached into your horse's trough and felt a slippery, slimy coating on the bottom and the sides? Sometimes it even has a faint greenish or pinkish tint to it. That slime is called a biofilm. When your horse drinks, the bacteria from their mouth mixes with the water. That bacteria then builds a sticky, protective fortress around itself on the walls of the trough. If you just top off the water every day without actually scrubbing that trough out, your horse is swallowing a huge, concentrated dose of bacteria every single time they take a drink. And a horse drinks a lot. A full-grown horse can drink somewhere around 10 gallons of water a day, so this is not a small detail. This brings me to our very first daily habit: trough hygiene and clean water. If you want your horse's breath to improve fast, start scrubbing out their water trough and their feed buckets regularly with a stiff brush and hot water. Dump it, scrub the walls, rinse it well, and refill. This breaks down that biofilm shield. Furthermore, take a hard look at where their water actually comes from. Standing water in an old trough in the summer sun grows bacteria and algae incredibly fast. Fresh, cool, moving water is always better. And here is the professional vet tip. Keep a floating trough brush or a simple scrub brush hanging right there on the fence. The reason most owners skip this job is not laziness. It's that the brush is always in the other barn. Make it easy on yourself, and the habit will actually stick. Clean water is the cheapest, simplest dental care you will ever do, and it costs you nothing but a few minutes. Now, let's move to Chapter 2 and head into your kitchen. We are going to talk about antibacterial and breath-freshening ingredients you probably already own. The sticky buildup on your horse's teeth is alive. It is a living, breathing bacterial colony sitting right against the gum line. To fight it naturally, we need safe, edible ingredients that break down bacterial cell walls. The first secret weapon is organic, unrefined virgin coconut oil. Coconut oil is incredibly rich in something called lauric acid. Lauric acid is well known in both human and animal medicine for its natural antibacterial and antifungal properties. When your horse eats a small amount of coconut oil, the lauric acid helps bind up bacteria in the mouth so it gets swallowed and dealt with by the stomach instead of sitting on the teeth. You can start with about 1 tablespoon mixed right into their feed for an average-sized horse and build up slowly from there. Not only does it help with the mouth, but it is fantastic for their skin and their coat shine. Just start with a very small amount, because too much oil too quickly can upset a horse's stomach, and an upset stomach in a horse is far more serious than it is in a dog. But what if your horse already has a genuinely foul, rotten smell coming from their mouth? Enter your second kitchen staple, plain curly parsley. Now, be very careful here. I am talking specifically about standard curly parsley, the same kind you would put on your own plate. Plain curly parsley is a brilliant natural breath freshener. It contains high levels of chlorophyll, which is the green pigment in plants. Chlorophyll has a strong deodorizing effect inside the mouth and the digestive tract. It actually neutralizes bad breath compounds at their source. Simply take a small handful of fresh curly parsley, chop it up, and mix it into their feed. Most horses love the fresh green taste, and you will often notice an improvement by the next morning. Now, I want to be clear about something important. A truly foul, rotten smell from one side of a horse's mouth is not just a breath problem. That specific smell very often means a cracked or infected tooth deep in the back, and no kitchen ingredient on earth will fix that. If you smell that, parsley is not your answer. Your vet is. We'll come back to this at the end. Next, we need to address inflammation in Chapter 3. Sometimes a horse's gums aren't just holding buildup. They are actively red, swollen, and sore. When gums are inflamed, they pull away from the tooth, creating little pockets where food packs in and bacteria multiply rapidly. To naturally soothe this redness, we can look to anti-inflammatory kitchen items and herbal rinses. First, we have turmeric and ginger. These two ancient spices are powerful natural anti-inflammatories. The active ingredient in turmeric has been shown to help reduce swelling in body tissue. You can take a small pinch of pure ground turmeric and ginger and mix it into a spoonful of that coconut oil we just talked about. Then stir the whole thing into their feed. The oil matters here because turmeric needs fat to actually be useful to the body. Mixed into a soft mash, it works as a soothing addition to their whole mouth and gut. But my absolute favorite trick for red, sore gums involves the tea bag sitting in your cupboard. Plain chamomile tea or decaffeinated green tea. Both green tea and chamomile contain soothing natural antioxidants. Green tea contains compounds that help stop bacteria from sticking to the surface of the teeth. Chamomile is naturally calming to irritated tissue. Here's how you use it. Brew a weak pot of chamomile or decaf green tea. Let it cool completely until it is room temperature or even a little chilled. And remember this, never use hot tea, not even warm. Once it's fully cool, you can either pour a splash over their soaked feed or dip a clean cloth in it and gently rub it along the outside of their gum line where you can safely reach. It gives cooling, gentle relief to sore gums. Always work from the side, never stand directly in front of a horse's head while you do this, and never put your fingers between their back teeth. Those back teeth generate enormous force, and they do not know your finger is in there. Now, let's talk about the absolute holy grail of hands-off dental support. If you saw the thumbnail of this video saying, "Add this to their bucket," this is exactly what I was talking about. Welcome to Chapter 4, The Ocean's Miracle. One of the most interesting natural ways to support a clean mouth requires no scrubbing at all. It works entirely from the inside out. I am talking about a very specific type of dried seaweed, a cold water kelp known as Ascophyllum nodosum. This is genuinely fascinating science, so stick with me here. When you sprinkle this specific dried kelp powder onto your horse's feed, they digest it. As it moves through their system, the active compounds are absorbed and then carried outward through their salivary glands. This means that hours after they eat it, their own saliva carries compounds that help soften the soft buildup on their teeth. Within a few weeks of using a pure kelp supplement daily, many owners notice that the softer, yellowish film along the gum line loosens and comes away naturally while the horse chews their normal hay. It is quite literally working while they eat. You can find pure natural kelp powders made specifically for horses at feed stores and online. And horses generally like the slightly salty ocean taste. Just remember this, because kelp is naturally very high in iodine, you must talk to your vet before using it if your horse has any thyroid issue, if your horse is a broodmare in foal, or if your horse is already on a full mineral supplement that contains iodine. Too much iodine is a real problem, so this is not a case of more being better. Use the amount on the label and no more. But for a healthy horse, used properly, this is a wonderful addition to their oral care routine. All right, my friends, moving right along to Chapter 5. Let's talk about mechanical cleaning. We've softened the buildup, we've freshened the breath. Now, how do we actually scrub the teeth without fighting them? The easiest way is to let the horse do the work for you, using nature's toothbrush. And here it is, long stem hay. This is the single most important dental tool your horse will ever use, and most people walk right past it. When a horse chews long stem hay, they use a wide, sweeping side-to-side grinding motion. That motion is exactly what naturally wears their teeth evenly and scrubs the surfaces clean. When a horse eats mostly soft grain, pellets, or short-chopped feed, they chew in a small, quick up-and-down motion instead. That short motion does not wear the teeth properly. Over time, this is how sharp edges form along the outside of the upper teeth and the inside of the lower teeth. Those sharp edges cut into the cheek and the tongue, and that is what causes a horse to fight the bit, drop feed, and hold their head strangely. So here is the fix, and it is free. Make sure your horse has long stem hay in front of them for as many hours a day as possible, ideally in a slow feed hay net, so they chew slowly and steadily. More chewing time means more grinding, more saliva, and a cleaner, healthier mouth. Next, let's talk about the vegetable drawer. Whole raw carrots are a great mechanical scrubber. When a horse bites down on a big raw carrot, the tough, fibrous vegetable physically scrapes the soft buildup off the surface of the front teeth while massaging the gum line. It is low in sugar compared to most horse treats, packed with vitamin A, and horses love the crunch. Safety warning here from Dr. Wade. Always cut carrots into long, lengthwise strips, never into round, coin-shaped slices. A round slice is exactly the right shape to lodge in a horse's throat and cause a choke, and choke in a horse is a serious emergency. Long strips, every single time. And if your horse has any known sugar issue, especially if they have ever had laminitis, skip the carrots entirely and ask your vet what treats are safe. If carrots aren't an option, you can also use a hard rubber lick toy or a hanging stall toy. When a horse works at a durable toy, they are moving their jaw, producing saliva, and keeping their mouth active instead of standing bored and chewing on wood. Just check any toy regularly for damage, and supervise a horse who tends to destroy things. If you spread a tiny bit of that coconut oil we talked about earlier onto a safe lick toy, your horse will happily work at it, giving themselves extra chewing time and extra saliva flow. We are covering so much ground today. Grab a sip of water, because Chapter 6 is vital. the mouth ecosystem, and the 10-second wipe. Your horse's mouth is an ecosystem. When bad bacteria take over, the gums suffer, and the teeth follow. We want to intentionally support good bacteria to crowd out the bad. The easiest way to do this in a horse is a good quality equine probiotic, stirred into their feed, or a scoop of soaked plain beet pulp to support healthy digestion overall. A healthy gut and a healthy mouth are far more connected than most people realize. When digestion is steady and the horse is chewing properly, the whole system, from the mouth all the way down, stays in much better balance. Now, let's talk about the absolute simplest daily habit you can start today. It's called the 10-second wipe. If your horse won't let you dig around in their mouth, do not force it and do not turn it into a fight. Instead, take a simple piece of clean, rough gauze or a soft, clean cloth. Dampen it with plain, cool water or a little of that cool chamomile tea we brewed earlier. Stand safely at the side of your horse's head, never in front. Gently lift their lip and wipe along the outside surface of their front teeth and gums. One quick swipe on the left, one quick swipe on the right. Soft buildup is sticky, and before it hardens, it wipes away beautifully onto a rough cloth. The whole thing takes 10 seconds. The secret to making this work? Do it right after you've given them a treat, or while they are relaxed and half asleep after a ride. And here is the part people get wrong. Do not reach for the back teeth, ever. The front teeth are the only part you should be touching. The back teeth are where the real work happens, and that is not your job. That is a job for your vet with proper equipment, and I want you safe. Keep this habit short, calm, and always end on a good note with a scratch on the neck. All right, my friends, we are coming to the end of the video, and I need to share Chapter 7 with you. As a veterinarian who deeply respects your trust, I always have to give you the hard truth. I've shared a lot of natural ideas with you today. Clean water, coconut oil, parsley, kelp, chamomile tea, carrots, and long stem hay. Rule number 1. Please do not add all of these to your horse at once. If you suddenly dump coconut oil, kelp, turmeric, and a pile of new treats into their feed tonight, I promise you that you will be dealing with a very unhappy stomach tomorrow. A horse's digestive system is delicate, and it does not handle sudden change well. My strong recommendation is to pick just 2 of these to start. Maybe you decide to scrub the water trough regularly and start hanging a slow-feed hay net. Stick with just those 2 for a month. Watch how your horse chews and how their breath smells. Later, you can slowly rotate in coconut oil or kelp. Slow and steady wins the race in horse nutrition, every single time. Rule number 2, and please hear this one. Know when home care is not enough. Everything I shared today is wonderful for prevention and for keeping a healthy mouth healthy. But none of it fixes a real dental problem. Here is the truth about a horse's mouth. Their teeth keep pushing up out of the jaw for most of their life, and they only wear down properly if the horse chews correctly. When they don't wear evenly, sharp points and hooks form on the back teeth, and those points cut into the cheek and tongue. No kitchen ingredient can file down a sharp point. Nothing you add to a bucket will fix a hook or a cracked tooth. So watch for these warning signs. Dropping half-chewed balls of hay on the ground while eating. Tilting the head to one side while chewing. Slobbering more than usual. Losing weight even though they are eating well. Whole undigested grain in their manure. Suddenly fighting the bit or tossing their head under saddle. Or that sharp, rotten smell from one side of the mouth. If you see any of that, stop everything and call your vet. A proper dental exam and float has to be done by a veterinarian, with the horse safely sedated and a full mouth speculum holding the jaw open so they can actually see and reach the very back teeth. It is not something to do yourself, and it is not something to hand to somebody without proper training. Most horses need this checked about once a year, and some older horses need it more often. If your horse is already overdue, please do not feel bad about it. Just book the appointment, get their mouth back to a clean starting point, and then use all these natural habits to keep it that way. Every single meal, every trough of water, and every hour of chewing is an opportunity for you to protect your horse's whole body. By keeping their water clean, giving them long stem hay to chew, using natural helpers like coconut oil, parsley, and kelp, and staying on top of a yearly dental exam, you are giving them the absolute best care possible. I know it can feel like a lot, but the fact that you are sitting here educating yourself means your horse has one of the good ones. If you found this video helpful, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button. It helps our channel reach and protect so many more horses. Hit subscribe so you never miss a new video, and please leave a comment below. I want to know, when was your horse's last dental check? Or are you going to try the kelp trick? I read as many comments as I possibly can, and I love hearing from you. Give your good horse a big scratch on the neck for Dr. Wade. Stay safe, trust your instincts, and I will see you all in the very next video.